it's been wild. People are going nuts over here. So I want to get right into it. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay, cool. So everybody, let's get Doe on here, and let me see. Hold on, just 1 second. We'll get this. Okay, guys, put your hands together. Oh my gosh, I didn't even connect it. I don't even have the connector. Oh my gosh.
I heard it. I heard it.
Hold on, guys. Here we go. Everybody put your hands together. Oh my gosh, everything's wild right now. Everybody, welcome Doe. All right, we're gonna do the fade out, fade out, fade out. Here's the fade out. Fade out. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna fix you on screen here, so don't fret. I got you. We'll get you centered and looking good. So everyone, say hi. This is Doe. Okay, hold on. Boom. Get this going. Yeah. Awesome. Boom. Here we are. Doe, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here.
Oh, well, I'm glad to have you. Hey, Papa Sweet, welcome up, buddy. Good to see you. Just so you know, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Twitch platform, but we got a live chat here. And if you guys are interested in asking any questions, please use the fresh bars because it helps me keep track of questions. So, Doe, thank you again. And can you tell people a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Yeah, I am a musical artist. My music fits into a lot of different genres, and I am really excited about what I get to do. I love traveling. I love doing ministry, seeing people, touching people, and actually being there face to face. Pandemic made it hard to do that. But the church found a way, and I thought that was really great. And it made things like this more, you know what I mean, well known. People found wonderful platforms that offer this type of service as well. And so there's, there were so many pros and cons to that season, but we're back in the swing. So I've been traveling a lot, and just got back in town this morning, actually, from Durham.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I was ministering in a church there. And I just thank you for having me. We just released the album in February, and hope you guys, I know we're going to get into all that, but
yeah,
check me out.
Well, no, the album is called Clarity, and it is so beautiful. And you were saying there that you fit into so many genres. Thank you, Cartagena. How the heck are you, Cartagena? Welcome in. Thank you for those biddies. I appreciate that. Because I was listening to Clarity, and I was thinking, because you fit into the spiritual realm of music, Christian music, but you also, it sounds very secular too. It sounds very inspiring as well. Is there a want to go into more of a secular direction, or are you comfortable where you're at?
I think there's a want to put every message that I've learned in my life in melody. I heard there's a song or there's a lyric in a song that says the truth don't scare you in a melody. And I think there's so many ways to put the truth of the gospel and the lives that those people lived and the life that I'm living along with God into a melody to help somebody. And, I am a Christian. I live a Christian lifestyle, and I'm having a human experience here on earth. And I sing about it all. And so I think the desire is to be all that I am, and to be successful in every industry that I enter into. I want to be successful, and I think there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think obviously you have to keep your ambition in check and stay humble. But everybody has to do that. And but I want to work hard. I want to be successful.
How do you stay humble? I mean, because you're doing pretty well, and you're traveling a lot, and your name is out there. I mean, your name is getting out there. How do you stay humble? How do you stay grounded?
Thank you for that. I think there's one pastor that said it to me like this, like, hey, you need to make sure you have a shut up crew around you. And right? It sounds so harsh, right? Why do I
No,
want
it
people to
doesn't.
shut
I
up all
get
the
it.
time?
Oh.
But yeah, but you need people around you that are going to say, hey, shut up. Like, you are out of line, or hey, sit down and rest for a little bit, like you're overdoing it. And they're saying it because they have genuine concern for you. I think being involved in a community, or what some people like to say call church, but in a community of people where you're living life together, and walking through this abundant life thing together, walking your salvation out, learning about each other, learning about yourself, getting healing, getting therapy, all of these things, as well as the spiritual practices that we often talk about, like reading your Bible and spending time with the Lord. All of those things, it's all, one thing. You've got to be able to rub shoulders with people in order to know what offense feels like. And then that's when you learn what forgiveness is,
Yeah. Yeah.
or forgiving yourself. And so just really leaning into your present season, and never despising it, and saying, God, why am I here? And what am I supposed to learn during this time?
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's really interesting. Like to see where like mainstream music is going right now, and
Yeah.
it almost seems like, and I'm not. I'm not anti-God or anything like that. That's not what I'm
Yeah.
saying here. I know what a preface for for a question, right?
No bigs.
But what do you think about sort of this movement in music where especially in the secular realm? I mean, like a song like WAP. I don't know. Are you familiar with Nicki Minaj? Is that Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it was, what's the other girl?
Oh no,
Cardi.
Cardi B. My bad. Oh my God. Sorry, Nikki.
I mean,
Love them both. I love both the artists. I think.
okay.
But when you see stuff like that, or when you see, especially, like Travis Scott recently was, he had a festival down in Texas, and there was a lot of this dark satanic themes to it. How does that strike you when you see that sort of coming onto the mainstream music? I mean, with WAP and stuff. And I'm not judging anybody or anything. If you want to do your thing, do your thing. But I'm just curious in how you feel about how this is sort of making its way back into or making its way into the mainstream.
I think okay. So so both of those artists' songs were very, extremely, forthright in their message. Sorry, my little ring light went off.
Oh, you're good.
And each message was different. You got one that's like hypersexual, and then
Yeah.
hyper spiritual and satanic in nature. And I from what I hear, those that try to add in these satanic images don't really um, believe per se in those practices. They just know that it's going to garner a lot of attention and a lot of
Hmm.
conversations like like this one. Then you have people who are very spiritual um, in the industry, who really are searching for power, or for that divine, to connect to that divine thing that will make this thing on the inside of them make sense. And a lot of people feel like that is sex, and that
Hmm.
it is so powerful, and it is going to help them tap into this greater, deeper level. My sexuality helps me tap into the
Hmm.
greater level of myself, and this is who God made me to be, and la la la. And when you look at it, it's really all us they're searching for, and feel like they have found that thing and
Hmm.
tapped into that thing. And that's why I think it's important for me and everybody, but me, to really to be bold with my message, and because I feel like I found that thing. I know I found the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that I found the well that never runs dry. And I think my job is to preach that. And I think that I can do more by preaching that than preaching against. Uh, because if I just preach against that, I draw more attention to that message.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
It
I
does.
want to draw attention to my message. And I'm not dodging or juking the question,
No.
because
No.
I
Not at
think you
all.
all know, if I'm a Christian, you all know, if I'm a Bible believing Christian, you all know how I feel about the messages in those songs.
Hmm.
Um, but I want to shine a light in those areas and say,
Hmm.
hey guys, try this thing over here.
Yeah.
Because
No, I
you're
feel you.
going to, you're going to
Yeah.
carry a lot less baggage, and you're going to lose a lot of things that you've been carrying that have weighed you down all your life. And you're going to stop searching. You're never going to thirst again.
Hmm.
And I feel the anointing, and I feel the power on those words and in that message. So I got to be passionate in my pursuit. When I write songs like Clarity, that talk about how I felt the pressures of being a pastor's daughter.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I had to strip those layers back. I did not want to carry the baggage of those layers anymore. And I had to choose to do that, but it was something that the Holy Spirit showed me, like, hey, this is tripping you up in your relationships. This is why you suck in relationships, because you feel like you need to perform all the time, So that's my answer to that, is
No,
like,
that's a
I'm like,
great
hey,
answer.
yeah, there's room for me in that,
Yeah.
on that stage too.
No, yeah, because and the thing about like satanic images and sex, those things have always been sort of part of music as well. I
For
mean, if you
sure.
think about Alice Cooper or Marilyn Manson or,
Yeah.
any or on the sexual side of things, and I love how you put that they sort of found this, they sort of tapped into this power, that they found this sort of way to get that kind of attention, to get that kind of, money and fame or whatever it is they're seeking.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved how you sort of spun it in your own way, because you're saying it's like, hey, I found my way in. It's like it's just it's a little bit more of a positive message, and I don't know, like when you think about the effects that one message has on people and the other, like your message, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know what I understand that what your message is very inspiring and you're very good. But do you think that the other side? Do you think that's having an effect on culture or do you think it's all entertainment?
Um, what they're doing?
Yeah, what they're doing. Yeah.
Yes, it is having an effect on culture. Um, I mean, if you look at what's selling right now,
Mm.
I think you hear so many people say with pride in their heart, they believe this, they believe sex sells.
Mm.
And as a woman, I feel like I want to sell more than my body. I want to sell, well, I don't want to sell my body at all. I want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
I'd like to put my intellect on display, and the other parts of me that to me will live beyond my body, my words, my love for Christ. And, I think what people will find, and this is what I believe, um, when you sell sex and when you sell some other way, and when I say that they're looking for something, um, I mean they're looking for something that gives their soul peace, and they feel like they're finally able to tap into the divine in some way.
Mm.
I believe there's no other way to truly tap into eternal life and to tap into the true divine except through Jesus Christ. And so that's what I'm saying. I found mine.
Yeah.
And my job is to talk about mine. They're talking about theirs. They feel like, yo, sex is what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, this demonic stuff is what it is. You're going to get power here. You're going to get fame here. And I'm like, hey, there's so much more to life than that.
Yeah.
There is another life, actually, an alternative life than what you're living. And not to cast a shadow on it, but I do want to say that what I have to give, I believe, totally eclipses
Mm.
this message that you are preaching. And they should be fine with that if they live in a competitive world. They're
Yeah.
all out there competing for their voices, and
Absolutely.
so if that's the pointed answer that you're looking for, yeah, it doesn't have, to me, it doesn't have the most healthy effect on culture and young people.
Yeah.
Um,
I was just
yeah.
curious, coming from your perspective, and there's a lot of, when you have these songs, especially like a song like WAP, like they're talking about women empowerment, and again, I'm not judging. Please,
Uh,
do your thing. They
uh,
found their way, like you said.
uh,
But what do you feel like women empowerment is for you?
yeah, this whole thing concerning like equality
Mm.
and people wanting every gender to have the same amount of respect,
Mm.
or people wanting women to have the same amount of respect as men. Um, I think we defeat the purpose uh, of that when we um, are sexualized and objectified.
Mm.
The other side of that is um, people who, there are women out there who identify like with this very extreme feminist idea, which is that, well, it's not that though. It's that I want women to be able to do whatever they want with their body and nobody tells them what to do.
Yeah.
And because men have that freedom as well in our society, right? And I totally get that. I just think that drawing attention to your sexuality overtly is going to defeat even the purpose of that. And that's my opinion,
Yeah, of
and so
course.
for me, I'm like, let's talk about what I bring to the table that other men get to be in the spotlight for all the time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that I can bring that to the table too, in business meetings, in songwriting. Let's talk about the fact that I am building my own business, that I'm going to leave a legacy, and I'm not married. And if I don't get married, it'll be under my name, and it'll be just as powerful and just as impactful, that I will be able to pass my message down to the next generation, and it will go like this and continue. And I'll be able to do that. God will empower me to do that as a woman. And so I don't know. I think that that's my version of empowerment.
Yeah.
Is if we're going to make it equal, then let's do that. And I think there will always be things that men are able to do that women can't do, and women will be able to do that men can't do, because we're biologically different.
Yeah.
No one can change that.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get sick once a month, if you know what I mean. You're never gonna, no matter what you do, you're never gonna experience that.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So I find power in that, and being a woman. But yeah, I want women to be free to lead, and to have the same positions as men, and not have to use sex as the driving force to get that either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you look at socially right now, there is sort of a blurring of lines, so to say, and gender and stuff. And again, I'm not judging. I'm not trying to talk bad about anybody, because whatever your lifestyle is, that's your choice,
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. Like, there's no matter what you do, you're never gonna have, like, you're never gonna feel the pain of a monthly, of your monthly
Yes.
time. So it's or being pregnant,
Being pregnant. Yeah.
At least not yet. Who knows what the future might bring? Who knows?
Right. They're
But
working hard over there. They might just make it happen.
they are. Yeah, really. Technology. Have you ever heard of CRISPR before? It's like this gene editing stuff. It's very,
No.
it's crazy. It's like they're starting to be able to edit genes and sort of be able to, like, weed out, disease, or weed out
Okay, I did
different
hear
things.
about that. I didn't know that's what it was called.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like CRISPR, CRISPR. I think that's what it's called. But it's wild. You should definitely look into it. There's a whole, the future is crazy. The future is just going to be so mind bending. Reina is in the chat. She was saying that you can't quantify women's empowerment. A woman's power is a culmination of the healing of her life's trauma. Oh,
that's really beautiful.
That's it. Yeah, that is. That's good, Reina. Thank you so much.
Come on.
What does Morby say? CRISPR Cas8 to be precise. Oh, is that what? Oh, I see. CRISPR Cas8 to be precise. Excuse me, Morby. Sorry, I didn't mean to get it wrong. I'm not a scientist. Pizza, what's up, buddy? How you doing, buddy? I hope you're doing okay. Welcome in. So yeah, I really enjoyed your music, and I really enjoy what you do. But I'd love to talk about, I mean, you've lived a whole life of music, and you've grown up in the church, and you've grown up with, what was it, the Jones family? What was the name?
Forever Jones.
Forever Jones. Excuse me. I was going to say the Jones Family Band. What is going on here?
We are that too.
What is that like, growing up in that kind of situation? Were you guys touring a lot? Were you guys visiting other churches and performing? Or was it a very localized situation?
No, we went on tours. We got nominated for 2 Grammys, 6 Stellars, I think, and 5 Doves. And we won a Stellar, and yeah, we had a really great run. You know, we did a lot of events for the label where we would be like in arenas with other gospel artists and
Wow.
singing, and then we did a lot of churches and stuff. And then there it was a rise in kind of a fall, and we got dropped from the label.
Oh, wow.
And but we kept singing, we kept moving forward, we kept doing our thing.
Yeah.
And then we all just kind of went like this. Psh, and
everybody, everybody sort of went their own direction.
yeah. I've got one brother in New York, and I've got one brother in Shreveport. He's married. My sister's in Shreveport. She's married with 3 kids. My mom and dad are
Oh,
pastoring in Dallas, and my baby sister just graduated from Christ with the Nations, and
oh,
she's pastoring with them, and she's my travel assistant at times.
oh, that's amazing. I love that. So, I mean, what is that like traveling as a child? Like, I mean, were you like, what's that like? I can't even imagine. Did you have? I can't imagine that was a quote unquote normal upbringing. What was that like as, coming up as a child and sort of touring around and being in these
Sure.
arenas and
Yeah.
that's a lot for a kid. I couldn't imagine my 8-year-old son right now just running around the country, doing that right now. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious on what that was like from your perspective.
Yeah. Well, I was 20 in my 20s,
Oh, you
but
were
my
okay.
yeah, but we had a baby in the family.
Oh,
I don't remember how old she was. She like 8. I think she was young like that.
oh,
We were a unit. We were so protective. My sister would bring her babies, but she would bring a nanny.
mm,
And I think for them it's just this like blurry past of just us running through airports and tired and ministering on the stage, and but they, she I think that Maya, gosh, so now I get to talk to her as an adult.
yeah,
She talks about times where she resented it.
mm,
And at this age though, she said, I just feel so blessed to have been a part of
mm.
that. I think when you're a kid and you're a part of something really big, because we would give her a mic that wasn't turned on yet until she was able to sing. It's really funny. But she just wanted to be a normal kid at times and didn't
Mm,
want to have anything to do with it. And she
yeah,
was just like, leave me alone. But now she's like, no, I get it. I couldn't understand it as a child. And she's
yeah,
so thankful. But yeah, it's when I look back, it's a blur. I have a funny story.
sure. I'd love to
When
hear it.
when there's a specific airline, I don't know if I'm even allowed to say it, but when they first came out, everyone thought the prices are so low. So I think you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I do. I do. I
So there, so there's a church that booked all of our 8 flights and all of our tickets through that airline, thinking, oh my God, these are amazing prices. Wait, though,
yeah.
we had, that was back when we were traveling with CDs and
Oh my.
luggage. So I just
Yeah.
have this memory of looking over because I heard my dad go, what? He's like, Tess, angry. It ended up being about $2,000 over our ticket price just to travel.
Wow.
And it was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. You can't imagine what we look like lugging all of that stuff through the airport.
I can't. I can't. I mean, like, my goodness, traveling with CDs and I mean, probably merchandise as well.
Yeah.
Like, and you had a whole crew, I imagine, right? I mean, it wasn't just you guys. You probably had some people helping a little bit.
Yeah, like one or two.
Oh, one or two. Okay, so dang, you guys are really doing it. Wow. That's incredible. That's wild. I mean, like I get mad every time I have to pay for my undercarriage for my keyboard. I'm just like, oh man,
Right.
my keys
Yeah.
I have to pay for this too, and then I'm like, I hope I have a stand at the venue because I'm not paying for a stand. That's for sure. But
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
that's that life though. That's that life. Um, so I mean, even in your 20s, that's a lot. I always tell
Yeah.
people, especially people who find success in their early, your brain's not even developed all the way yet.
Sure.
You're still your brain. I mean, like literally, your brain's still growing, and so
Yeah.
like to have all that stimulation, all that lugging stuff through airports, being tired, being exhausted. I mean, I know what it's like to be on the tours. And I mean, I've never been like flying around the country or anything, but I've definitely been in vans with a bunch of stinky dudes,
Ooh,
The
the real thing. That's a
re-
real ministry right there. Telling you.
It is. So, I mean, I can't imagine just doing that as, a 20-year-old even, and holding it all together, just, mentally. Like, what did, were you old enough then to sort of take a step back and sort of like understand your mental health, or was it just sort of like momentum of life, go, go, go?
No, I didn't have a good beat on just even those two words, mental health, until I got older. And sometimes, in the church community back then, we weren't that good at it, and we're better at it now. So we would pray a lot. We would pray the demons away, if we thought, you know what I mean?
No,
That was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
Just pray and fast and get healed,
Yes.
And so I think we're realizing that there's deliverance in talking through these days, as well as prayer and fasting. I still believe in all of that. It's that my batteries, not my phone battery, my little light. We'll just take it off. I don't even need it anymore.
No, you're good. We got you.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think I'm thankful now because I feel like I have been exposed to the importance of mental health and constantly talking to people about it now. But back then I didn't have a good beat on it. I was just, emotional about things and just trying to make it through, trying to make sure that when we got up there, we were in position in our hearts to be used by God. And then privately, I just had a lot of moments that were that were tough, or walked through some depression here and there, and just had to trust God. But I'm not saying I wasn't a happy camper, but I'm definitely way more healthy now than I was then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, again, at 20 years old, I mean, what did I mean, I always just think of myself at 20, I was a mess. So, like, I couldn't imagine being under the stress and pressure of running around the country and arenas and almost said it. I was flying in these terrible airlines and stuff. So, I was a mess. So, I always I always try to think about how I was, and then how does that reflect? All right, I know Cartagena. I know what it is. But what was the point? What was that? What was the decision, or what sort of pushed you in the decision to sort of take your own steps and move away from the family band and start your own path?
In 2014 I said I'm going solo, and I made a EP. And it was prayer tools. It was music that I wrote that was going to help people pray. Sometimes music helps you stay longer than you would without it when you're praying. You know what I mean? Sometimes it does. It just helps you just stay there. And so I made that, and then I just kept producing little songs here and there, and I was like, and I went to Full Sail for the business of music. I got my bachelor's in the business of music.
Oh, cool! Heck yeah!
So I learned.
Is that the one in Ohio or Florida, or neither? Florida. Okay.
Winter Park, Florida. Yeah. So I learned a lot about how to build my own by getting that degree.
Yes.
And that was really great for me. And then I got my master's in creative writing, and that was an accelerated program. That was one of the hardest things I'd ever done.
Why?
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why was it hard, or why did I do it?
Well, no, both? I mean, but why was it hard? Why was it one of the hardest?
It was hard. Oh my gosh, it was hard because I was getting over some heart breakups and issues, and getting therapy and moving forward. I was so emotionally drained that I almost didn't make it. And I remember I took a month off because they offered me that. And when I came back, I finished, but I felt like I rolled over the finish line.
It's just like, I made it. Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean?
I do.
It's like you go through stuff, but life still has to go on.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, I am not going to have school debt and nothing to show for it. I will not.
Hey,
So,
you need that
you
kind of
know, I,
determination though. Like that
yeah.
determination is so important, especially in a business like this. Is like if you're
Oh
not
my
determined
gosh.
and if you're not self-determined or
Yeah,
self-motivated to keep pushing, like no one's just gonna come and drop a Grammy in your pocket, in your
for
lap.
sure.
No one's gonna just
Yeah.
come and just, here's your ticket, here it is. Welcome to
Yeah.
Hollywood, It's like
Yeah.
you have to like push through all those moments, whether you're sad, you're happy, whatever it is, you have to sort of find a way through it, or else it's just not going to work. I mean,
Yeah.
and sometimes you
Yeah.
need to step away from it. And like you said, you took a month
Yeah.
off, and you needed a month to just sort of, decompress.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And so why creative writing? I understand. I kind of understand why you would want to do that as a songwriter and such. But what was your reasons?
I remember feeling like I'm supposed to get my master's in this program.
Hmm.
And I got accepted and I did it. And when I tell you, because creative writing is a master's in the art of storytelling.
Hmm.
So it's nothing musical actually at all.
Hmm.
So my my thesis was a screenplay.
Oh.
And yeah, and Full Sail does a great job. At least when I was there, they did a great job at, if you were getting a degree for a specific industry, they were going to find whatever's making the most money at that time in that industry and push you towards that and teach you how to do it and how to research it. And that's what they did for me. And so yeah, that's why I did. I wrote a screenplay. And the thing with screenplays is you have to write in perfect present tense. You can't write a feeling in or an emotion because the camera can't capture that. You
Hmm.
have to write an action that personifies the feeling or puts it into that a camera can, like someone throwing a plate down. And if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, it
And
does.
no adverbs. You can't say harshly.
Oh.
You know, it was so like it really grew me, So I came out of that a way better writer.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you write a lot besides music? Do you like journal or do you write? Do you like write books? I mean, like, what do you want to pursue
I
writing?
do. I
Yeah.
do want to pursue that. And when I'm inspired to, I write poems.
Oh.
Nobody knows that unless you get really close to me.
Oh. Oh.
Actually, barely no one knows that, but I write poems and
Oh.
I'll be up in a plane or I'll be looking at a couple in an airport and I'll be watching their little kids running around, driving them insane. And I'll write about what is keeping them together and in love, or keeping the fabric of even their marriage together in that moment. I like, you know,
Yeah.
doing stuff like that. And that sounds really silly, but
No, that sounds really beautiful, honestly. I mean, you have to sort of put yourself in
thanks.
other people's shoes to sort of understand, try to get an idea of what their lives are like. Like you said, you're trying to, why do they stay together? Why are, what makes them want to keep pushing on when all these things are
Yeah.
fighting against them? And yeah,
Yeah.
character development and story arcs and
Yeah.
all those
I
cool
love
things.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. With the screenplay, what was the screenplay about?
It sucked. Okay.
Well, no,
Uh,
okay, we're not gonna read it or anything, but what was the overarching theme, I guess?
yeah. I feel like, okay, so I think it was
It's
about a girl who thought that she had become an orphan just because she was unwanted.
mm,
Um, but it really was because she was the daughter of a CIA agent and who couldn't keep her. Um, but she ended up being sold off to, see, I need to go back. Actually, it's a really great storyline. She ended up being picked up by another agency that that molded her into a what do you call it, an assassin,
oh,
and one day being sent out to kill her dad, who ended up being her dad or something like that, some
wow,
crazy.
twist.
That's That's actually really,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, maybe I should revisit that.
I mean,
But
just clean that up. Just, I mean, clean it up and make it
huh?
some, polish it up, and there you go. You got it. You
Yeah.
got it. I mean, that would be really cool to do if you sort of started getting into movies and stuff. I don't know how you'd have the time. I mean, you seem very, very busy with
Either.
your career right now. Uh, how do you manage your time? Because like when I see like you're doing interviews, you're constantly running around. I mean, you're signed to a subsidiary of Sony, I believe, right? I mean, you're
Yeah.
basically Sony Records signed, and how do you find time? How do you manage your time?
Day by day, man. I get back in town
Yeah,
and I'm
that's a
like,
good
I don't
answer.
want to do laundry. Um,
Yeah.
every now and then, I actually decided the other day, I don't even think I should be telling the whole world this, but I can't anymore. So, guys, I found this company that will do wash and fold for me, and they will pick up my laundry and bring it back folded.
Yo,
And I just put it in the drawer.
yo, I,
I
I
listen,
feel that.
and it's like $50. Do you know what I realized? I realized like I'm not paying so I could be lazy. I'm buying more time
Yep,
to do other things. That's
absolutely.
literally what I'm doing. And time is way more valuable than being able to say I did my laundry.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's, I don't think it's bougie or anything. It's like when you have people who have assistants, or who are,
Listen,
or like even have house cleaners. I mean, like, and you ain't got
right?
to be like super rich to have a house cleaner. They're kind of
No.
affordable. They're kind of affordable
Yeah.
if you can do it, and
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Spending your time scrubbing baseboards, spending your entire weekend scrubbing crap out of the walls. I mean, that sounds tedious, and I'm not even as busy as you. I'm pretty sure I'm not. So like, I feel you so hard. I'd rather be producing art or making something or having something to show for my time rather than a clean house, which there's something to be said about a clean house or whatever, but
Oh my gosh. Yes.
but still, no,
Yes.
I feel that so hard. I definitely feel that. No judgment here, no judgment here. You get your
Thanks.
you get your folded laundry.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I, so uh like when you're moving around, from like church to church, what
Yeah.
is like the way you mostly travel? Are you mostly flying? Do you drive? How do you do, or does it
Yeah.
depend?
I never drive unless it is faster than flying.
Ah,
You
yeah.
got to get there 2 hours before, or I get there an hour and 15 minutes before if it's a pretty good fast airport.
Mm.
And then you get on the plane and then you land and then you wait for your bag. So it's like if I could drive there faster, which is very rare. Um, so I 99% of the time I'd say I fly right now.
Nice, nice.
And and I
So
stick with American because I'm building miles and trying to get that status up so I can get free upgrades.
I gotta get that upgrade.
Gotta
Uh,
get it.
uh, so, like, when you're ministering, are you actually? I'm sorry if I don't have better words for it, but are you
It's
actually like
okay.
preaching? Are you going and being like the minister for the day, or is it,
Yeah.
or is it just playing music? I'm sorry, I'm just a little confused on what that means.
Yeah. So it's such a broad term,
Mhm.
really. So that may look like for me, like I'll go do a women's conference for a weekend.
Hmm.
Women's conferences might mean that I'm doing the worship for the whole women's conference. And then I'll do maybe 2 breakout sessions and then do the Sunday morning worship experience as well. And then maybe Sunday night or maybe not. I actually these days I don't do 3 services in one day
Ooh,
because I only have one voice.
yeah.
And then I come home. But like this last weekend, I was just there for an anniversary, the church anniversary. So I was a part of their program, a small part of their program, and it was nice. And I don't travel alone anymore. I don't ever do that. I think it's just safer to always have somebody there. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just an MD, one of my brothers who can play keys, and kind of follow me as I'm singing because
Hmm.
I ain't never gonna just stick to the song.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, can you just follow me?
Yeah.
And they do really
Right.
well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it just depends. It could be me just, I mean, and when I'm there, when I say I like to touch people, I like to shake their hands. You never know what God is going to have you say to encourage somebody, or what you're going to share from your story that pulls somebody off of the cliff. Um, you know what I mean? You just never know.
Yeah.
And there have been moments where I've gone and led worship at a church, but then I'm sitting at the table and I'm sharing with someone my story and they start weeping. And I'm like, this is why I came.
Yeah.
I didn't come for the 3 services to sing my single and talk about my product.
Yeah.
I came because God wanted to meet with you and encourage you, and you needed somebody to look you in the eye and tell you that you matter.
Yeah.
And I've had so many moments where God used other people to do that for me, so I know what that means for people.
You know, that's very powerful. They say if you're depressed or if you're not feeling so great about yourself, go and serve, right? Go out and serve your community or serve your church. And I feel like that's such a huge part of serving is you know, touching people just like you said. I worked at a homeless shelter over the winter, and you know, I'd just be having casual conversations with some of the residents, and you know, before we knew it, they're crying and just making eye contact and you know, remembering their name and just sort of giving them that respect, something that they don't usually get, you know, out in the streets.
That's so good.
I found it so healing. It was it was very surprising to me. Like, and I've served in my community and stuff in different aspects, and but it was at a time where I was feeling not so great about myself too, and like I don't know, it was just such a beautiful thing. So I could totally relate to what you're saying when you're just talking to somebody and all of a sudden tears are coming, or that whatever you just said to them, even if it was just the most casual thing, that meant so much to them, and that pulled them off the cliff. And yeah, I love that so much. I love that that's a part of who you are. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. So tell me about Clarity. I really, again, I love the album. It's beautiful, and it has all these different elements that, and where I feel like it could be played on, you know, a pop station, or even you know, a non-secular station, or it definitely fits in a lot of places, and it's really awesome, and it's, you know, modern, and you know, it's just what was Clarity. Was there a step between your last album and this album? Was there a growth, or do you feel like there was a change that happened between the last 2 albums?
So much growth. So much growth. 2020 happened while I wrote the album. And so as I was writing and recording, I was having to sit with feelings and certain things that were happening in our country. And then as I was sending songs into, my label was like, okay, that's pretty, but we want to hear, there's enough pretty stuff out there. We want to hear something that's genuine to who you are. So me thinking I'm an amazing songwriter and I could just whatever, you guys are going to like it. Hearing that from my label was like, it took me back to the drawing board that I didn't know I needed to go back to. And I just remember tapping this well after when I broke and I was like, I tapped into this well of honesty that I didn't know existed. And that's where the gems like I Try and Take Me Back and the other songs on the album Clarity, they were there waiting to get out. And so that was a really beautiful moment for me. And when you find that level of honesty, you're like, I didn't know I could, am I allowed to say this? And then you're like, I should only be saying this.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
I should only be this honest. And that's what it was for me.
Yeah, there's something about vulnerability that touches people more than anything that I've ever found, really. It's
Yeah.
like that I mean, that's what they want from you, right? It's like cuz you can always sing about, loving God and doing right and doing all these things, but who is Doe, right?
Yeah.
Who am I following here? Who is this person that I've been, watching grow over the years from, from a family band to your own career and now here. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, vulnerability is everything, I think.
Yeah.
Or some most of it, I guess. I mean, I guess it's not everything, but
Hmm.
again, songs like WAP are very popular, so I don't know how
Yeah.
vulnerable that is, but still, I think it's a very important thing that a lot of artists tend to stray away from. Well, was it hard for you to do that? Was it hard for you to sort of be more personal with your writing?
Yeah, it was. It was because I mean, if you listen to my music, then you realize that I had a lot of performative layers that I carried to appease or to maybe make people comfortable, and maybe in times they didn't even care and I thought they cared,
Yeah.
and then maybe other times I took on the cares of other people where I shouldn't have. And so like when I wrote I Try, there are words in there that I know people hear and they're like, I know exactly, if you grew up with me, they're like, I know exactly what she's talking about right here. um, and so I always want to be honest with a level of honor as well. I think there's a way to be honest and tell your story. um, but yeah, it was hard. If you have lived your life with a mask on, then you feel like you're not yourself with the mask off. And some people call that imposter syndrome or whatever. But I'm just so thankful because this is the work of uh, the divine within you. It is not just preach, 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 preach the gospel. It's also get healthy and get healed.
Yeah.
Like live the abundant life, have healthy relationships, and so I was able to see the work of that in me, um, letting go of, if I can say this trigger word, uh, the sin of passivity or the sin of saying I must be passive in order to survive. I must not ruffle anyone else's feathers. I must not do and be all that I'm called to be so that everybody else feels better, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And people don't say sin because they don't want anybody to feel judged or in what, but I'm saying that about myself. And there was freedom in me calling it what it was and doing the work to, and honestly, so you don't even know you're on the journey of healing until you get to the other side and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, I've grown so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you're just sort of struggling and going with the momentum of your traumas or whatever you're trying to get past, and you're not even
Yeah.
when you're in the thick of it, you're in it. You don't see it, and then you're just like, oh wow, yeah, okay, here I am,
Yeah.
I found
Yeah.
it. Here it is. Yeah, that's so beautiful, and I love the divine within that, and whether you're religious or Christian or whatever religion you are, I feel like the divine within is something that people can relate to when you find what your calling is, right? Like what you are
Mhm.
truly meant to be, and whether
Mhm.
you want to call it divinity or just your true calling, whatever it is that you want to call it. I do think that there is that within everybody, and I think that people, there's so many people who sort of ignore it or don't see it or whatever it is that's keeping them from it, that keeps them in a miserable state of mind or whatever it is. I feel like that, you got to keep searching. You got to sort of keep on that path, or else. I mean, I've seen a lot of people who grow older and just are unhappy and just hate what they do, and they hate their job, and they don't really care
Yeah.
for their partner, and like their kids are running
Yeah.
around the airport being terrible or whatever it is. Like there's so many people that sort of ignore that side of them, and it's very sad to see that. And I don't know. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that everybody sort of has something like that within them?
Yeah, I agree with that. And the way that I would probably word it
Mhm.
is and that's the thing. That's why people are searching, because there is divinity in them, calling out to the true and one divinity, right?
Mhm.
Searching for that home and that calling and the why am I here? And I believe I can only find that in God. But that there's that thing, and I feel like once you feel like you found it or stepped into it, there's kind of this groove that you step into. And I'm not saying life is all of a sudden perfect, because
Right.
it's not, because then you got to fight for what you found. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You got to fight to maintain
Yep.
your joy in that. You got to, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Once you found that, it's so worth it. And then so this is how life is. It's so crazy, because that can change too in
Right.
the blink of an eye. And then your life looks different again. And you got to figure that out. And I
Yeah.
think that's what keeps us from becoming robots in this life,
Mhm.
right? From just saying, this is my routine, this is how you do it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it keeps you from becoming a bobblehead, you know? And then it jerks you out of this. Yeah. You get jerked out of it and you're like, well, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then
Yeah.
you find the groove again.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also a comfort in sort of just sort of going through life, not paying attention or not being, introspective or looking for that divine divinity within. I feel like there is a comfort within that, and you just sort of get used to it,
Yes.
and that's
Yes.
dangerous as well.
Mm-hmm.
And not well, it could be physically dangerous, but just mentally and what you can create, literally you can create hell for yourself here,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's very scary. It's a very scary thing that, oof, it keeps
Oof.
me on my toes. It keeps me on my toes for sure. um Doe, I question everything. There you go. Pizza Man says question everything. Doe, I know you got to get going, so I would love for you, in these last moments, is there anything you want to share before you part and go on with your beautiful life?
My beautiful life.
I know, I because I do think it's beautiful, and I always love seeing musicians flourish. I think it's the
Thank
most
you.
beautiful thing in the world is when artists can live their art, their
Thank
life,
you.
their true artist life. So when I say
Thank
beautiful
you.
life, I know it's not perfect. I know you have
Oh no, I
you have your same problems everyone else does. Maybe not the exact, but you gotta get up and put your pants on just like everyone else.
yeah.
But I truly love to see other musicians or artists in general just live their best artist life. So that's what I
Yeah.
mean. I wasn't
Oh
trying to be
no.
cheesy.
No, I love it. I just was looking at my messy room and I said, my beautiful life.
You're like, how much are those maid services? I think I can fit that in the budget. Yo,
Just
it,
being real, y'all. Just being real.
we
I
appreciate that.
really, yeah. I was like, should I say that? I'm gonna say it. But I really feel led just in these moments to encourage people to lean into forward motion. That's kind of been the word on my heart. It's just like, you have to go forward. I don't care if it's an inch, I don't care if it's 3 steps. You have got to submit to forward motion in your life, whatever that looks like. Some of you are healing through trauma, like our sister said in the chat, that about the power of a woman healing through her trauma. Oftentimes, when we say I'm going to get healed, it's because we can envision ourselves on the other side of that healing, and we want that so bad, so we step into the process of healing, and then it hurts and we're like, I would have never embarked on this journey if I knew it was going to hurt like this. But I just want to encourage you, wherever you are, lean into forward motion. Don't stop, don't get stagnant, don't turn around and go back to whatever your Egypt might be, but push forward on into healing and finding wholeness in your life, and pursuing happiness and pursuing joy, pursuing health in your mind. And then for those of you who may be just discouraged in your career, submit to forward motion, whatever that looks like. and also redefine what success is for you. You never know. Sometimes what might be causing you to feel the weight of the world is that you have the wrong definition of what success or forward motion is. And it may just be that you leave this world empty of everything you came here with, whether that's in front of a small crowd, whether that's that you impact 2 or 3 people out of your whole life because you give your life to your 2 babies or children that you're raising. Just decide that you're going to give it your all in every season, and be present wherever you are. And I just feel like too many people are discouraged today. And I always take on the challenge to call them up and say, keep moving forward. The world needs you. Somebody needs what you have to say. Somebody needs your smile. Someone needs your existence today. And that's what I would say at the end of my little speech.
That was absolutely wonderful, and everybody in the chat really liked it too.
Yeah.
And Karji says, "Beautiful person all around. Thank you for blessing us today." And Ziggy, hey Ziggy, welcome in. How you doing? Good to see you. And Ziggy says, "Keep moving," and all that good stuff. I really appreciate it very, very much. Thank you so much, Doe, for being a part of the show. And I had a wonderful time chatting with you, and I love what you do. So thank you so much. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, there's probably gonna be things like that pop up.
I love that. It's so great. Thank you so much for having me
No
today.
worries. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, give Doe. Oh, hold on. Everybody give Doe a round of applause.
Hi, guys.
Thank you so much, Doe. You enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, bye.
Bye.